at work, really, isn't it?
Oh, mate. Oh.
Gee whiz. That's a story for another day.
Oh, wow.
I'm sure there was a few teachers. 1, 2, KP, we'll probably get to experience at some point as well. All right. First things first.
This one come off, or is this one?
Some KPs get some feedback. First, what we're going to do is we're going to take our currants and we are going to chuck them in a bowl. I've got about that much, maybe 2 handfuls. What would you say, Jeff? Third of a cup? Yeah, doesn't really matter. Whatever you got. Don't want too many. Don't want too less. Bang them in a bowl. What we're going to do is we're going to rehydrate them. Now, you can rehydrate them with just water. I'm going to use a little bit of apple cider vinegar. I know that wasn't in the actual ingredient list. If you've got some, chuck a bit in just till they're covered. And we'll drain that off at the end. That will just make them a bit more plump and juicy. If you don't have a vinegar or you're scared, hot water or tap water will be fine. And that will just soak. And that vinegar will actually become sweet because it takes on all the flavour of the currants. All right, and we'll deal with them right at the last minute. Bring you over to the cauliflower. Hopefully you all saw what was going on over there. Mine's starting to come up well. It looks a bit dark on top because that's what the seasoning is happening, but you want it to get smoky and a bit charred. And the leaves are really, really tasty, so don't freak out that we put the leaves in. They actually come up really well and nice and crisp. They actually make a good part of the salad. All right, what we're going to move on to next is the mince. Everyone okay with that thus far? Happy days? Pretty straightforward. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to...
How much apple cider was it?
Oh, just until they're covered, Em.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be too much. Yeah, you're going to get rid of it anyway, so it doesn't really make any difference how much you use. What we're going to do next is we are going to move over to the mince. So hopefully you've all got your mince in the bowl. All right, that's ready to go. Hopefully you're taking it out of the fridge because it's a bit easier to work with when it's room temp. All right, just it cooks better as well. What we're going to do is we're going to move over to the KitchenAid. All right, and we're just going to grab roughly a handful of our rocket. I think it says 60 grams. Oh, sorry, 25 grams. So just a little handful like that. All right, it doesn't have to be much. And I'm just going to put it into my Nutribullet. All right, it's a cheap, really. Just avoids us just chopping it. Now, I made the cardinal sin of not buying one of the ingredients, so I've actually left out the pistachios.
Critical part of the
dish. It's actually the third word of the title, which is a little bit scary. So what I'm going to substitute the pistachios for, and we've got 60 grams roughly. I've just got some seeds that we've used in previous weeks. So we've just got some pepitas and some sunflower kernels. So I'm going to chuck them into the rocket as well. All right, they go into there. Now, if you haven't got a whizzer, it doesn't really matter. Rough chop with the pistachios and rockets. He's just, I don't think he's just being lazy. He doesn't want to use his knife skills. So that just goes in, and it doesn't have to be long. It's just a quick flip. Done. All right, and you can chuck that in with your mince straight away. All right, just a rough chop on that. Doesn't have to be pretty. What I like to do now is just grab a spatula, if you've got one handy, or a spoon, and just push down anything that didn't come out of your lid or bowl or whatever you're using. All right, scrape that to the bottom.
Can you buy unshelled pistachios? Yes.
Yes, you can. Yeah, they're expensive.
They're in the
baking and nut aisle.
The baking and nut section. Oh, Marley's having to shell all the pistachios. Oh no, Mars.
Marley.
Have you got any seeds or anything instead you can whack in if you want? Or where's Sammy? Nuts? Get Sammy on the tools shelling some pistachios. Oh, you could have told her to prep them, she said.
It said kernels.
All good. She's all good.
You right? Do you want me to go on or are you happy? Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to chuck in the rest of our ingredients for our lamb patties. I'm going to use 2 cloves of garlic. Don't have to chop them. Just give them a smash with your knife. Get the skins off. No, normally I grate garlic, but not really going to matter today. So 2 cloves of garlic. And we're going to use 1 onion, just chopped roughly into some chunks. We're going to use a big one. Don't have to be fancy with your cut, but remember, as always, if you want to cut safely, cut a portion off the bottom so it's flat. Oh, Mullins is on. G'day, Mullins. Just mute yourself there, mate. Come to watch. Just one of the mates, the boys, just hanging shit on me probably. So what you want to do is flatten it out, and we're just going to chop it roughly into quarters. Just remove that core. And that just goes straight in with your garlic and remnants of your last spin in the whizzer. If you lose the outer layer, don't worry about it. All good. Don't want that core, so cut that out. Get rid of that. Peel the layer off. Right, that's in. Right, lid back on your whizzing device, high-powered spinning thing. That goes back on, and we want to try and make a nice little smooth paste here. This thing hates me, I reckon. There we go. Right, it would pick up any of the other stuff you left in there. Bang your lid in your lamb bowl. Want to get all that in there. Thanks, Jess. I can go in your dirty dishes pile. You won't need him again. Chuck in your onion and your garlic into your lamb. Scrape out all that goodness there. Yours will probably be a bit greener due to your pistachios. Mine's gone that greyish colour. Okay, so don't panic if it's not quite matching. All right, that's all in there, ready to go. All right, the next part we need to do is we're just going to put in a couple of good lugs of olive oil. 3 tablespoons. Now, lamb is obviously a very fatty meat. You don't want too much, just a good splash, maybe a tablespoon, tablespoon and a half. And salt and pepper is actually really, really important here. Or not so much the pepper, but the salt, because the salt will actually help you bind your meat. So hit it with a great deal of pepper. All right, and some salt. Thank you, my EP and camera woman. Hit it with a good crack of salt. And now this is where you can be a little bit more adventurous. Add in some extra flavours. Ottolenghi's a bit simple and doesn't really like, in his book's called Simple, funnily enough. He doesn't like to complicate things. I've got a couple of things I want to use up. This is harissa. You can get it from most supermarkets. There's not much left in the tube. I'm going to squirt a bit of that in there. And I'm going to put in maybe some cumin, because lamb and cumin go really, really well together. And I used harissa seasoning on top of my cauliflower, just as a bit of an added bonus flavour. So it should tie well in together. But whatever you like, or whatever you like with your lamb, I think Middle Eastern, because that's what we're having. You could use a garam masala, even. Anything really is going to go well just to mix it up. So just a bit of a sprinkle of some cumin seeds. Coriander would be really nice as well. And yeah, what we're going to do now is just mix these. I'm going to use my hand. You don't have to. You're going to have to use your hands to make the patties anyway. So they're going to get dirty at some point. I'll keep that spatula handy, just in the bowl, because we'll use that again. That's James. Yeah, fridge uses that to get it changed. Make sure I washed my hands before. I'll quickly do it again. Fridge doesn't actually. Fridge actually sits off camera, so that comes.
I know he did it before, but it was my whole phone screen, just James smiling back at me.
This is actually a question in the boys' trivia yesterday. I'm just going to mix that up nice and proper. All right, get your hands in there. You might just want to use one hand. Really combine it well. Not the prettiest, but it gets the best result. So when you're mixing with your hands or you're making patties or burgers or anything like that, it's always good to keep one hand out of the mix, keep one hand dry. It's easier than to turn on the tap, so always try and use one hand. It's always a bit of a, if you're cooking alone, don't want to dirty the tap, and your hand, only one hand will smell afterwards instead of one, I guess. That looks pretty good. You don't want it too firm or anything like that. Don't want it too bouncy. You want it just to be a nice little patty that will fall apart and be scrumptious in the mouth, or succulent, as Mullins would say, or Jake is our favourite word. So just give it a good mix. Make sure you mix in all those flavours, and just give it a bit of time just to rest. What we might do now, you can make these ahead of time, and they actually work really well when they sit in the fridge for a little while. So if you were wanting to make this meal again and you wanted to save time, you could make these patties a couple of hours in advance, turn them into what you wanted to, big ones, small ones, and then just essentially sit them in the fridge for as long as you want. What we might do is actually, we'll form the patties and then we'll put them in the fridge just to rest, and then we'll cook them, because they'll firm up then and the salt and the meat will bind a little bit. So what you want to do is, maybe put a bit of paper towel in. What do you reckon? Will that probably stick? Maybe just a splash of oil. That'll probably be all right, actually. Right. Just grab a plate. All right, and what you want to do is you also want to have a bowl of water, because the water will help you mould the patty. So hot, cold, doesn't really matter. Right, just a bowl of water, something you can put your hand into. All right, this is where you probably are going to get both hands dirty. So make sure you have a tap that's accessible to you. And what we're going to do is we're going to form about 20 patties. So Ottolenghi himself says they should be about 5 centimetres wide, 2 centimetres thick. So yeah, they're not big. You can make them big if you want. I think they work better smaller. I'll give you an example. So wet your hand. All right, that bowl will get a bit gross by the end of it. All right, just grab something like this, make a little ball in your hands. All right, and just flatten it out. So just a nice little disc. Bang. Bring it down there. There it is there. Doesn't have to be big. So probably about the size of roughly a golf ball in your hands. All right, and then you just shape your patties and just turn them in, just flatten them out a little bit. You can, yeah, You can be as pretty as you like, but we're not going for aesthetics here. It doesn't have to be great. So, yeah, get rolling away, and then we'll chuck them in the fridge, and that will help it set up, and we'll get everything ready from there. So if you have any questions along the way, let us know, because this bit probably takes a little while. Almost cathartic though. You can just chuck in. So if you've got any questions, you can probably unmute yourselves. Probably don't want to now with your hands dirty, but if you've got any questions, let us know. Jake might keep us entertained while he's not actually cooking, he's just watching. He might be able to do some footy trib or something on the line. You got anything for us, Dream Cream?
Can I use the chat?
You can use the chat if you like, yeah.
Okay. I've got a bit on currently. I might mute myself again.
You got Nini in the background, I see. Every now and again, you probably just want to dunk your hands in the water. All right. As I said, they don't have to be masterpieces, but you want them roughly around the same size and width and thickness, because that means they're all going to cook roughly the same. All right, so hands back in the water. All right, just makes it easy to form the balls.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how succulent will these patties be?
You've had them before, Jess. What do you think?
They're pretty good.
Jess was doubting them without the pistachios.
Yeah, with pistachios, the first time I had them, they were a 10 out of 10, without a doubt. But I'm a bit disappointed when he told me he didn't have pistachios.
I do apologise.
Yeah.
I've done that though. I'll ask. What did I forget the other week? Something?
I don't know. You didn't even ask me to get them.
I know, because I didn't know until the end.
Have you got flaked almonds this week, Paul?
I do actually, thankfully. That was the thing I forgot last week. I got them this week, which aren't as important.
Just get some pistachios for next week.
Yeah, I like to just bring one ingredient over from each week to just to keep me guessing.
We have certain nuts and seeds that are always in the pantry, and unfortunately, flaked almonds and pistachios are not those.
Got every other nut under the sun.
Yeah.
But as you can tell, but not anything like that.
Marley might be done shelling hers by then, and then you can borrow some.
Yeah, if you need any pistachios, Marley might shell them for you, and she'll be able to send them via the post. She'll get to you in 2 to 3 business days.
Oh. Please rank the original 3 Indiana Jones movies, 1 being the best.
Oh, Jesus. Jess, you're more of it.
I do love an Indiana Jones movie.
Well, what do you think?
I don't know.
Isn't he not needed in one of them? Wasn't that an episode of The Big Bang Theory when they proved that he wasn't actually required? He wasn't actually the heroine that the movie title suggests.
I got to remember all their names.
You've got
Temple of Doom,
Last Crusade, and Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh yeah, no, they're all good.
Why do we have Lockie's butt? Just what's happening?
He's probably throwing darts, I think.
Yeah, he is.
Is that riveting the show? He's already turned off.
How was work, Pulsey?
I had a pretty easy start. I only taught the first 2 periods.
Yeah.
But the kids seem to respond well to. I had pretty good attendance.
Day 1, you'd bloody hope so.
Yeah.
If there's going to be a day you're going to get good attendance, you got to hope it's today.
I just had no idea who was going to show up and how. But it was pretty good. I had 2 missing from my Year 9 class.
How can you tell? How does your attendance work?
Oh, I kind of just based it off the meeting off Microsoft Teams. And then mark my role.
Yeah.
Kind of do a check on who's in the meeting, which is not it's hard to get a capture, but apparently Microsoft Teams keeps updating its platform all the time.
Oh, okay.
So in 2 weeks, you're going to be able to see who was an attendee in your meeting at the end, which will be handy. Just kind of just guessing and stuff like that too, a little bit. Then my Year 12s are pretty good. I couldn't get in contact with 2 of them. I'll try to get in contact with them again tonight. Still haven't heard from them, so I might actually give them an old-fashioned phone call tomorrow to see how they're going. But yeah, it's interesting times. They seem to respond well to the platform, and the internet only dropped out during the school time, which was great. It was in the middle of my Year 9 maths class, and the kids had a righteous old time when I wasn't in the chat, apparently. The teaching aide was in there trying to control them. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, I think they took over the chat. And some of the kids started to spam it and stuff like that, and it was getting out of control. But
Of course.
yeah, just typical Year 9s doing typical Year 9 things, really.
Yeah.
I know Marley had an interesting experience. My sister Marley's in the meeting. She is a primary school teacher. She I think she was flat out like a lizard drinking today.
Yeah.
She rang me after school and she said she didn't have time to scratch herself.
Oh, I can imagine. My best friend, she volunteered to go into school to look after the kids who couldn't stay home. So she had to set up work for her kids and then look after the other kids.
No, that's weird.
I was like, mate, you put that on yourself by doing that on the first day.
Our kids are just doing remote learning at school under supervision.
Yeah, that's what she's doing, but she had like grade 1s. Well, she has grade 1s, and then she was supervising other grade 1s.
They've actually got CRTs at our school to do the supervision.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything, so I don't know, I'm just assuming we don't go into school because I'm assuming they got other people to do it. Because we haven't been told at all.
After you've done that, give your hands a good wash, right? And you can just set those into the fridge until you're ready to cook them. I'll just set up a little bit firmer and be a bit nicer to cook. You can just chuck them in uncovered, that's totally fine. Right, they're not going anywhere. And yeah, I'm just going to check on my cauliflower. That's going pretty well. I'm actually going to turn that down. You see, got a nice little char on there. I'm going to turn that down to about 150. Just don't want to do too much more damage to that. That's pretty good. Now what we want to do, I'll wait a couple of minutes and then we'll move on up shortly. Just once everyone's finished making their patties, or in Marley's case, shelling their pistachios. There we go.
Do you need to put my spoon down?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, put it up there. Jess going to have to take a work call, so this might be I might just put this up like this. And I've got to get rid of that. There we go. No, sorry. Get rid of that.
Do you want me to hang this one up?
Yeah, we'll jump back on shortly.
Sorry, guys. Oh, I can't even.
Up on this one. All right, just give us a thumbs up when you're ready to move on. Made your balls. Mum's is good. KP's good. Annette's good. Muzz is good. All right, what we're going to do now is just prepare our salad. All right, Jess just had a work call, so hopefully this should be okay, and she comes back just in time for the cooking. All right, so grab yourselves a salad bowl. All right, got a nice salad bowl here. What we're going to do is chuck our rocket in. That's ready to go. What are the leftovers you got? I've probably got too much there, but all good. All right, rocket goes in the bottom. What we want to do next is probably drain our lentils, can of lentils. All right, so just crack that open. And what we'll do is we'll get everything almost ready to serve, and then we'll cook the patties. All right, lentils go in strainer. You don't want any of that juice. All right, it's not very good tasting. Give them a rinse under cold water. Smell isn't that pleasant, but they're pretty good. And good for you as well. Apologies to any partners. They might be on the receiving end of some awful smells later though. No, I'm not guilty on that front. If you've got half an onion lying around, we're just going to finely slice that. I'm just going to chop an onion in half. All right, we'll use that another time during the week. I would leave it out of the fridge. I know a lot of people tend to put it in the fridge after you've used it, but I think they go better outside. All right. So just going to thinly slice a red onion. If you don't have it, not a big deal. All right, just gives a bit of texture. Thinly slice. Do your best. Keep your fingers away from the blade. Sharp knife will do wonders here. Once it gets a little bit tricky to hold, what you can do is you can flip it over on its edge like I just did. So it was up like that. And then you flip it down and you've got a bit more surface area to work with. So try and get it as thin as you can. If you want to use your mandolin like we used the other week, you could. I can't be bothered getting it out and then having to wash it. If you're left with a chunky bit at the end, just put that in your scraps. You won't have to worry about that. All right, that goes in. The red chilli was optional, but in the Hani Pulsar household, we almost have it with most things. So bang that in, finely slice that. You can even run your knife through it a bit more if you want to do a dice on it. Just a bit of heat there. Whatever your taste buds accustomed to, chuck that in your salad. All right, that can just all mingle there for a while. All right, until we chuck our cauliflower in. Get that little bit of onion off my knife. All right, what we'll do now is we'll toast our almonds before we use our pan for our lamb patties. So you want to open them up. So flaked almonds. That will just go on top. You can put them in with your cauliflower as well. That won't really matter. So just dry pan, sprinkle about half a bag there. It's about 60 grams worth. Just texture on top of your salad. Bang that on a low heat. All right, these ones actually cook nice and quickly because they're nice and thin. You can chuck a bit of salt in the pan if you want as well. All right, beautiful. All right, now we're going to make our dressing. And then we'll be onto the lamb patties. All right, so dressing. I can't actually remember what I told you. So I'm going to just go to my own ingredients list. Bear with me. All right, so what you want to do is grab a jar, or if not, a bowl. I like to use jars for my dressings because you can make a big batch and keep it in the cupboard. We've got a couple of jars there on the go. So, quarter cup of olive oil. You can measure it if you want. I'm not big on measurement, but kind of do it by eye. A good glug of that goes in. Good little tip, if you start with oil in your measuring cup, It'll make everything else easy to come out. So always start with your oil. Tahini is next. So it's roughly the same amount of that. Now, if you've got tahini, it will have oil on the top. So you want to just try and give that a mix in with your knife. Ours has been sitting in the fridge for a while, so give that a mix. Try and incorporate some of those oils back in. So tahini is just essentially sesame seed paste. It's ground up sesames. So mine had the oil sitting on top because we don't use it that often. But I've just mixed that back in, all right? And we just need the equal amount of tahini to olive oil. So you can use the same measuring construct.
Jared, can I trouble you to move the oil?
Sometimes they can get a bit dry. Doesn't have to be perfect. All right, that goes into our jar as well. If you're just using a bowl, it's totally cool.
Pulsey, the olive oil bottle's in the way. We can't see anything.
We won't need that again, so we'll get rid of that. And that.
It's fine.
All right, next, what we need to do is a couple of teaspoons of honey. So a good, or maple syrup works really well. Whatever you can get your hands on. So good couple of dashes of that. Keep that out because you might use that to balance your dressing. Some Dijon mustard, which I don't have, but thankfully it's in our HelloFresh kit this week. So I'll steal that out of the HelloFresh kit and chuck that in the dressing. So 2 teaspoons, which is about roughly 15 grams, I think. Bang that in. I'll have to go buy some for whatever HelloFresh meal, have that included this week. If you've got whole grain or if you don't have Dijon, chuck it in. Even a little bit of hot English will be fine. All right. That's in. Salt and pepper, really important. Give it a good whack of that. Check your nuts. I know my nephew would get a right laugh out of that. Marley would agree. These nuts. Bit of salt in your dressing. Don't be afraid. Salt is good in dressings. Now lemon. Hopefully I got some. I do have a lemon, which is great. If you don't have a lemon, you could probably use your apple cider vinegar from earlier. Got a stray passion fruit there as well. Right, it says for half a lemon, so we'll start off with that. As always, go over the top of your hand, or if you've got a sieve and you want to use that, you can. So try and catch the seeds as they come out, and just open up your fingers and your juice will run in. And hopefully you'll have the seeds remaining as well. As I drop 2 or 3 in there. So get the most out of that lemon. You might need to put some more in. You might not. We'll taste it. All right. What we're going to do we'll whack the lid on and we'll give it a good shake. Or if you're in a bowl, give it a good mix. And what we'll do is we'll put that to one side. We'll taste it, number one. But what will happen is the tahini is really thick. So you might need to add some water just to emulsify it at the end to make it a good consistency. So give it a good shake, chuck something on the top, like you're making a nice cocktail. This is a good dressing for anything really, whatever you want. So that's really thick. So what we'll do at the end is we'll might chuck some water in that, but give that a taste. Mine needs some more salt and some more acid. So I'm going to add the other half of that lemon just to balance it out a little bit. Give yours a taste if it tastes good. Tastes good. If it doesn't, add some more salt and acid. If you add salt and acid to most things, it's going to taste really good. So, yeah. Right. You can give it a mix this time. That will help thin it out a bit more as well. All right. One more taste. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Right. Just going to do a quick clean down before we go any further. It's getting shit's going everywhere. I'll grab my cloth. Give that a rinse. Just going to clean my board down. Pepper, one more lentils. Where's my rubbish bowl? There it is. All right, check your nuts, give them a shake. You want a nice little golden hue on them. All right, don't want to burn them. Check your cauliflower out well at this stage. We might be ready. I'm going to just turn the oven off on mine. Just want a nice colour on that. All right, this is going to come together quite quickly from here. Is everyone all right thus far? We're good? All right, just clean my board up a bit. There's dishes there. Get rid of that. All right. Okay. I think there's some flat leaf parsley on the list. So if you got that, you can get that almost ready to go. We just want to chop that up at the last minute. That will just go on the top. So mine's looking a bit yellow, but all good. We'll rough chop that right at the end and put that on. So just leave that on your board. All right. I've got some dill that's getting towards its end of its life as well, so I'll use that. Chuck in whatever you want. Coriander. Probably would stay away from basil, but anything you really want to chuck in on top. All right, that's there. We'll rough that. We'll chop that right at the last minute and chuck that on top. Our lentils are still draining. We'll put them in later into our salad. Nuts are looking good. Starting to get some colour onto those. They're not too far away. Put them in a bowl. We also have to make the yogurt and sumac sauce as well. I've just remembered. All right, that's real easy. Do that quickly. All right. Couple of tablespoons of Greek yogurt. This goes all right in the fridge, so if you make too much, don't panic. Just got about a cup, 2.5 tablespoons. All right, hit it with salt and pepper. Good crack of that. I'm going to hit that with another lemon. Probably half a lemon will probably do the trick. Try and catch the pips again. All right. Down to quick wipe. Sumac. Put a bit on now. Put a bit in now. About a teaspoon. Give it a good mix. Sumac's really cool because it gives you sourness without liquid. So normally with sumac we associate, or normally with sourness we associate a liquid with sourness. We think about lemon juice and vinegars and these kind of things, or tartness. Sumac gives you that kind of taste with in powder form, so it's really, really cool. You can get really, really artistic with these, and you can put it a bit more on top. All right, and you can use the back of your spoon and you can swirl it in. Something like that. Looks pretty cool. Good dipping sauce as well. Set that to one side. All right. Should be nice and sour because you want something to cut through the richness of the lamb. All right, my nuts are done. Or flaked almonds. Got a good colour on them. Try and get them into a bowl without burning your fingers. Use a spoon or a knife. All right, and you can bang that pan straight back on the heat. All right, we want a nice low temperature. All right, we want a nice kind of stable pan. We don't want to burn these. And because the lamb's got such a high fat content, if we put it, you could even start with these in the cold pan and they'll do really, really well. So probably pick your biggest burner and just kick it right back to low. There's already a lot of heat in that pan. So what I want you to do is go to your patties and then just chuck them in. All right? And you'll hear a sizzle straight away, and that's great. All right, so chuck them in your pan and just let it go. We wanted them to form a nice, really good crust. If you have to cook in batches, you might have to do that, but if you've got a big enough pan, it's good. All right, we'll use that plate again because it's already dirty. If you've got a bit of paper towel handy, just give it a bit of a wipe. You can get rid of some of the greasiness. All right, because we want to drain them anyway, we'll just put a paper towel layer down. As I said, lamb's very fatty, so you'll get a lot of fat rendered around those patties. That's why we've got a lot of sourness with the rest of the meal to help us cut through that. You want to hear a good sizzle, so if you're not hearing the sizzle enough, turn it up a little bit. But obviously, we want to make sure they're cooked in the middle. So, yeah. Put a bit of paper down on your plate, paper towel down on your plate. All right, and hopefully they're smelling really good. I'm getting good smells from my kitchen, so hopefully you are too. Might just bring the old computer over to give you a bit of a look. No, that's the range hood. Jared, you idiot. There they are. Yeah, so just have them in your pan. Oop, come up. That's not really working, but you get the gist. You've all cooked something like this before. So let them do their thing. All right, check on your cauliflower if you're still running with that. I'm going to bring that over to the bench. You can see the lovely cauliflower roasted up nicely. The leaves are nice and crispy. Treat yourself to one of those. They're delicious. They can just sit out of the oven now. Right, and we'll put this all together once all the lamb's done. How's everyone going? Good? Any questions? Happy days? Wonderful. All right, now it's just pretty much just waiting for the lamb to cook. Give your lentils a good shake. You can chuck them in your salad with your onion and your rocket. All right, a bit of moisture will go in with them. That's totally fine. Don't panic too much. We can also do the same with our currants. Okay, you can drain those. All right, just in the same strainer that you use for your lentils. You probably see the difference between those and the ones you got out of the packet. They're just pumped up a bit. They've kind of taken on some of whatever liquid you've used. All right, give them a little bit of a tip in. All right, if you get a bit of liquid in there, it's fine. My lamb patties are going well. They will spit at you a little bit because there's a lot of fat coming off them. So just be careful. That's why you want to have a nice low heat on those. All right. And if there's too much fat rendering out of those patties, it might be a good idea just to tilt your pan off into the sink or into the bin or into a bowl just to get rid of some of it. I'm almost at that point now. So if I bring my pan over and show you guys, there's a lot of fat that's been rendered out already. So what I might do is I might just tip that into a bowl and we'll get rid of that at a later date. You can use some tongs or anything like that to help you keep your patties in the bowl. So you might be able to angle your pan off. Get rid of some of that fat. Haven't done a bad job there. Haven't done the best job either. That's all right. Bang them back on your heat. Hopefully you haven't squished too many. You can see there, that's all the fat that's kind of been rendered out of the lamb already. If you kept that in your pan, that could have got a bit dangerous. So it's good to get rid of. Get them back sizzling again. So you should have some good colour on the bottom. So once they're ready to give them a turn, give them a turn. All right, if you're not quite ready, you can turn them back. You might lose a few soldiers along the way, but that's okay. Some of mine aren't quite ready to turn, so I'll just leave them on for a little bit longer. Just a waiting game at the moment. All right, you can internet shut itself again. I do apologise for that. Mine are ready. Hopefully yours are as well. So I just got them on some kitchen towel there. Cut one open. You'll probably get away with a little bit of pinkness. It's not going to kill you. All right. I apologise if it's splattered everywhere in your kitchen and you have to give your stovetop a good wipe. All right, to serve, pretty simple. I'll just check on your dressing, see how thick that's gotten. So mine's pretty thick. I'm just going to add a splash of water in there. Just cold water. Maybe a teaspoon's worth. All right, that'll just dilute that and bring that back to a nice consistency. Give it a good shake. All right. To serve, give your salad a good toss. I'll chop your herbs first, number one. Parsley, rough chop, doesn't have to be spectacular. Internet dropped out anyway.
Sorry.
It's not your fault. Jess is back, so what we might get her, she's normally the chief tosser of the house.
Doesn't have to be in the shop.
No, you don't have to be in the shop. Steph got my joke, which was good.
Oh, yeah. Holes, could you just give us a refresher of what's in the salad?
So you've got your cauliflower, you've got your lentils, your currants, onion, chilli, and your herbs.
Cool.
Just everything in that.
Yep.
Just give it a good toss. Jess is just doing that off camera. She's just returned from her work call.
Easier to toss with your hands.
Yeah, easier to toss with your hands. That's what she said. Title of her sex tape. Either of those would be fine. I'll bring that back to shot shortly. Yeah. Just done a really good job there. All right. All right, bring that down. That's what that looks like. Okay, so grab your bowl. And I think, did I grab some salad servers out? Yes, I did. All right. Salad servers. Good portion of that. That sits really well in the fridge, so that'll be really good to go tomorrow. Like I always say, don't dress your salad. Dress your salads in the bowl, because if you're going to have it for lunch the next day, you don't want it going soggy. So grab a good portion of that. That's where all the goodness is. All right, make sure you got a bit of everything in there. Give your salad dressing one last shake. All right, and get a bit of that on there. All right, these two dressings will work together nicely. All right, and then up to how many patties you want to use. Jess and I aim for 4 servings of this. You probably get about 3 to 4 on your plate. If you're still unsure if they're not cooked, just cut one open. We'll probably go 4 of these. They can just sit on top. Sorry, that's all. We're almost done. All right, and get a dollop of the Sumac yogurt sauce just on top as well. That's Moo's meals for this week. If you want, take a picture of your finished product. Tag Moo's Meals on Instagram, which is Moo's MOS.meals, and I'll add them to my story, and we'll get more people involved. You also got your nuts as well. These nuts, so sprinkle a few of them on top, bit of extra texture, and then Bob's your auntie and or uncle. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Take a picture of what you created, tag me in it, we'll tag Moo's Meals in it, and we'll go from there. If you've got any suggestions for next week, hit up the Instagram and we'll go from there. But thanks for tuning in. Hope you all had a fun time. Go watch MasterChef and learn some real stuff about cooking while you enjoy your dinner, instead of listening to me all the time. Have a good night, guys, and enjoy.
Thanks, Pauls.
No worries.
Bye. See ya.
Thanks, Pauls.
Thanks, Mullins.
See ya.